Hi there. S3 School Counselor here, Alicia Massini, and welcome to this parent update. I wanted to provide a moment where you and I can connect. There is so much information, there is so much going on in this S3 school year, and the goal is to ensure that you are kept in the loop with some of the information, the resources, and the strategies that your young person has been given access to over the course of the school year. My objective is to make sure that your students are preparing in S3. So when they enroll into their final year, their S4 year, right, their final year in high school, they already have a strategy and they have a clear sense of direction with regards to what to do, whether their goals after high school is to work or to go to college at Bermuda College or go to college abroad or a trade school or start a business, whatever their goals and objectives are. The goal in S3 is to ensure that they are equipped and prepared for what comes next. So with that being said, let's dig right in. All right, one of the updates I want to share is that at the beginning of the school year, S3 students were given access to a WhatsApp group. The vast majority of them are online on this WhatsApp group, but some are not yet present. We've been providing them with reminders, but if your young person has access to WhatsApp and would like to be in the group, feel free to have them scan this QR code and they can join. This is a space where they can also get updates. Lots of resources are sent to them by myself via email. However, I want to also ensure ease of access to information that can support their journey. And so both myself and their S3 year level lead, Mrs. Davis, often puts information in the WhatsApp group that will be vital for them to have access to, in addition to content that's sent via email. So if your young person doesn't have a phone, don't worry, just have them check their emails as well. All right. We're also just trying to get students in general used to checking their emails regularly because there's so many opportunities that are coming their way via these emails that are being sent, but as also just a part of workplace readiness or college readiness. All right, so in November, I provided the students with this college prep checklist. I'm really excited about this. The goal again is to ensure that they have resource to information early. So in November, we were doing engaging in reinforcing them setting up a LinkedIn account. There are some employers for even high school students that are asking for students to have a LinkedIn account as part of their professional digital footprint. So if your young person has not set up their LinkedIn account yet, please support them with completing it and accompanying a professional photo to go with their LinkedIn account. In November, starting in November, there was also conversations about resumes. So in December, I want to say, December or January, we really started to emphasize resume completion. Through this new year, I have given every student the opportunity to have their resume reviewed, and I have given written feedback to every student that has submitted their resume to me. So again, if your young person has completed the resume and hasn't sent it to me, this is an opportunity to have it reviewed. I give really constructive feedback. I'm really good with resume writing. And so this is a resource that they can take advantage of now so that when it comes to summer employment, they're ready to go. When it comes to applying to colleges, universities, or jobs after high school or really during their final year, they already have a resume that is in good working order and this needs a minor update in order to be dispatched. Some tools and strategies again for students that are preparing for college and moving to January, February, and March. That's where we are now. Having students identify what they want to study. This has been an ongoing conversation since S1. Now in S2, you really want to hone in on what their interest is. Identifying 5 colleges that they hope to apply for. So looking at admissions criteria. A really important note here for parents and guardians who's interested in sending their kids to school in the US. With the new political landscape, it's going to be really important that you research and consider how this may or may not impact the college experience for your young person. There is conversations that less money will be available to some colleges, especially for international students. We're just trying to assess what this new landscape will bring. So that's something to just be really aware of and to do your research and to just keep your ear to the ground and seek out information to ascertain if studying in the US will be a good match for your young person right now. And just noting that the funding resources that have historically been there for international students may or may not look different at this point. So just keeping that in mind. I should make a note here for colleges overseas in terms of what's most affordable. The UK is the most affordable, then comes Canada, then comes the US. Schools in the Caribbean and South America are also very affordable as well. There are some universities in Europe that are more affordable outside of just the UK, but we find that most of our students are gravitating, in Bermuda specifically, tend to gravitate towards the UK and the US, and Canada due to its affordability. I'll reference a Linktree resource that I created for the S3 students. But one of the links I have here is to watch the YouTube video on that Linktree that I'll talk about soon that talks about paying for college. Looking to see if your young person is planning to attend a US college, does that college require the SATs? I'll talk about the SATs shortly, right? That's very important. If they do require the SATs, then that requires a sitting of that examination and prepping for that examination as part of your admissions package. Having a conversation as a family about college, what will it cost? Who will be paying for it? When can you go? Can you go directly after graduation? Do you need to work a year or two? You need to go to college first and get that associate's degree for free if you have a cumulative GPA of 3.0 and above. Again, free associate's degree, Bermuda College, for students that have a cumulative GPA of 3.0 and above. Do I need to do 2 years there and then do my final 2 years abroad, right? Just having a really dynamic conversation about as a family about what could come next. And then number 6, finalizing what are your top colleges that you want to apply for. And I'll talk more about that. All right. So those are the goals and the activities that we really want to emphasize between now and March. And in April, we're doing things like talking about preparing for your personal essay, looking at BermudaScholarships.com, and I'll share that website soon. UCAS, for students that are applying to school in the UK, downloading that app, learning more about that. Common App for students that want to go to school in the US, going to that website, enrolling, getting your immigration sorted out. So if you're studying abroad, for Bermuda College, you may need a proof of a Bermudian citizenship, right? So getting that completed. If you're studying abroad, do you need a US or, do you need a UK passport if you're planning on attending school in the UK, right? So some of these immigration processes that can be quite lengthy, getting them completed now in S3 to avoid last minute stress in S4. All right. And then lastly, again, this is April and May. So we are not here yet. This is where we're moving to for the end of this S3 school year. But I'm also going to be requesting for students to let me know in the end of the school year who needs recommendation letters for applying for colleges so that I can begin to work on those application letters this year so that they can be more robust. And of course, I'll make updates to them in the S4 year, but at least I can get a start on it early. As if you can imagine, there will be a lot of letter requests coming my way with a population of over 120 something students, right? So you just really want to be proactive and intentional as you move together. So this is the website I was telling you about. We had a guest from Bermuda Scholarships come and speak with our students. Their new website is live. Although they cannot apply in their S3 year, they have the opportunity now to sign up, become familiar, look at some of the scholarships, look at some of the requirements so that, again, in their S4 year, they're well prepped and ready to roll. It's very important. The guest speaker indicated that they enroll or sign up rather with their non-school email. So janedoe@gmail.com, right? because having access to their school email may not be possible after graduation. And so they literally have it on their website to have persons that sign up not use a school affiliated email address. That's also another note as we'll talk about resumes soon, but making sure that your young person has a professional email address outside of their school, and it should be as close to their first and last name as possible. You may have to put some numbers in there because that email might be taken, or put their first name, middle name, and last name, but just making sure that each student has a professional email address that they can utilize. All right, so for students that are planning on going to college, again, they receive this information in November, right, to support their process. So one of the recommendations I've given them is to identify 2 safety colleges that have high acceptance rate that they know they'll get in, right? And then 4 to 5 schools that are the targeted colleges. These are the ones that they really want to get into, and they are more likely to get into. And then your reach colleges are your dream colleges, your dream universities, right? That they have more of a lower acceptance rate, but you're just going to try to see if you can get in. So the hope is that at the end of the day, students can have at least 9 colleges that they're looking at, 5 target, 2 safety, and 2 reach colleges, so that you can have a conversation as a family and start to narrow down what colleges they'll be applying for in their S4 year. Similarly, last week I created a workplace checklist, and I've sent this out to students. Some students will plan to attend college right after high school. Some will work right after high school. Some may work while attending college, right? And so I want to make sure that everyone is well versed on what to do. So similarly, between now and March, we really want our students that are looking for employment after high school to get their professional email address, to have sent me their resume and gotten feedback, to make sure that I've given the review, create their LinkedIn account, right? That's what we're working on for them between now and March. And from April to June, we have some additional strategies for them to utilize, right? I don't want to go through everything here, but it has to do with them seeking out information about potential jobs that they might be interested in. I've sent this to students via WhatsApp, via email, and they also have access to hard copy of these documentations so that they can actively check it off as I move through these steps. And then similarly, what are my safety jobs? What are the jobs that I can easily get employment, right? That's got 3 jobs that are easy to get into, or seemingly easy, right? And then 5 jobs that are like my target jobs. So the companies, the organizations that I'm really interested in. I could get hired, right? It's a bit of a likelihood here. And then again, my reach jobs. These are my dream jobs. They're a bit more competitive, harder to get into, but let's try, let's be ambitious, and let's still go after it, okay? So the goal is for students to have clarity around where they'd like to work after graduation. Why? Now's the time to start making connections. Now's the time to start volunteering. Now's the time to start to speak to their HR to find out what are some requirements for employment with that organization. Now's the time, right? And so once we have clarity on the where, then we can get clarity on the how, but the time is now. So these are some resources that students have been provided with. I really want to ensure their success. I've also created a really robust link tree. And at the bottom, you'll see the link tree address. This has a slew of information. When I tell you I want to resource your child, I mean, I have everything on this link tree, from figuring out what you want to study, right? There's interviews that I've done with scholarship grantors that gives you insight on how to be successful in gaining scholarships. There's interviews from Long Tail Learning on what's it like to be in college, the practical aspects of it. There's co-curricular activity volunteering links there, community service volunteering links there, SAT prep. Oh my goodness, the list is long. It's a lot of content on there, right? So please take a look. Even as you see here, building a professional portfolio, the link to Linktree, Canva, how to put a resume together, right? But those that are looking for employment right after high school. Really helpful stuff. Please take a look and use it at your discretion to support your next step. As I mentioned, I did resume reviews of students. That's open-ended. So if there are any of your young people that have not sent their resumes to me, please have them do so. SAT prep. So I mentioned this earlier, but here's the website. I'm going to pause here so that you can see where to sign up. SATsuite.collegeboard.org. So some American colleges and universities require the SAT. Your first step, and that's why we mentioned really narrowing down your colleges now, right? Because I would hate for students to waste their time doing the SATs if it's not something that's actually being required for their college or university, or if they say, you know what, I actually don't want to go to school in the States. I'm going to go to the UK and Canada, then this just completely takes this off of their agenda of items to complete, right? So first step, figure out where you want to study. And then based on that, based on the enrollment criteria, take a look to see if the SAT is required. All right. So here's the website. The cost is $68 plus the international fee of $43, right? Again, here's the website. Here's some free tutoring resources for the SAT. The two locations in Bermuda College and Soltis. All right. And then here are the registration deadlines. So the next date is May the 3rd, and the registration deadline is April the 18th. After that, June the 7th, and the next registration deadline is May the 22nd. All right. So really trying to gain clarity so that there can be time for completing of these examinations if it is needed. Graduation requirements, Future Fridays. Future Fridays are learning opportunities that occur during the students' lunchtime so that they can be gaining the soft skills, the connections, information needed for success. Often students will meet persons that are proficient in their set field of occupation, or maybe a community resource that offers opportunities for students to engage in like Skillcraft, which I'll talk about next or further on. And so these students are required to attend 5 for graduation. Historically, students were able to begin this in S4. However, I have advocated for our students to be able to access them earlier. So as of now, really as of beginning of the school year, students were informed that based on this advocacy, they now can start their Future Fridays now. They can cross this graduation requirement off of their things to do in S4 so that they're well poised and positioned to complete this requirement. I want to honor our students that have been the first round to complete them. These are not the only students, but I really want to honor those that first were able to complete this. And I just want to note that these are our peer, yeah, all of them are peer forward leaders. So well done, well done. All right. We mentioned the LinkedIn account. So really, again, making sure that students create that LinkedIn account. And also another graduation requirement is this digital literacy and productivity learning pathway course. At the beginning of the school year, I want to say in November, all students were given the information and access to complete this requirement. Please check in if you're a student and ensure, sorry, bell ringing, ensure that they have completed this requirement. And if you have any questions, you can, Deval Robinson is the kind of the tech person that supports us if there's tech issues. And Mrs. Michelle Davis, our S3 team lead, can probably give you insight about who has completed this if you're not sure if your student has completed this graduation requirement. Okay, again, I really want to emphasize that students need their hours for community service and co-curricular activities. 20 hours community service, 20 hours co-curricular for every school year, right? So please, sorry, looking for something. Please make sure that your young person has gotten all of their hours in that they need for graduation. All right, that's really important. I'll provide some resources in Linktree that has ways in which, I have already provided resources in Linktree that provide some ways in which students can access co-curricular and community service opportunities. Also want to emphasize that school trips are another way in which you can gain co-curricular hours. So if your young person has attended any school trips, please have the educational lead of that trip to sign off so that those hours can be calculated. Skillcraft, I mentioned this, they came to engage with our young people about a month ago, and they have an internship over the summer for young people to get hands-on in supporting businesses, right? And they have a 6-week summer internship. So please check them out, skillcraft.bm. That's another option that your young person can gain communities, co-curricular hours rather, and also make some connections, get some good references. That's another really good point. This is the season for young people to be making connections so that they can have references for employment and reference letters for scholarships. All right. Another graduation requirement is external exams in math, English, and science, whether it's the IGCSEs or the City and Guilds. Just checking in to make sure that your young person has completed these examinations. Oh, another opportunity for students to gain credits. If your young person has a bike license, they can obtain a half a credit if they take their license to Ms. Hart's office. I want you to know that everything that I'm sharing with you, your student has been informed of multiple times. So none of this is new information to them. It's trying to make sure that you are directly getting the information that students have been constantly getting access to. And so some students would have already completed this task. Morgan State University, okay, when they shared this, we have some students who are attending the Summer Academy of Actuarial and Mathematical Sciences at Morgan State University. Feel free to take a look. There's a website, morgan.edu/SAAMS. They have a phenomenal program for students that are interested in actuarial science or mathematical studies. It's really stellar. Please check it out. For more information, check the website. All right. So the way that it works is the program will be primarily virtual, and the final week will be on campus. So they won't be there for the entire time. The final week will be on campus, but then most of the content will occur online. All right, that's just more information. Okay, and that's Morgan State University. Looks incredible on a resume, right? Wonderful opportunities for our young people. Again, another opportunity that I shared with students, and this may already be, may have already been taken advantage of by our top students already. But Tomorrow's Voices has provided opportunity for our students to engage in research. And I believe that students that have been ambitious and making contact with them may have already secured the spots for this. But I just really want to share with you the caliber of opportunities. I mean, research in high school, their opportunities are flowing their way. And what's happening is the students that are reaching out to these persons the quickest are getting the opportunities. So please have them really keep their ear to the ground for the opportunities that have come their way. Again, there's a program that's during the summer. This one is for students that are interested in medicine. So a pre-mag project, right? For students that are 4 to 18 years old. And here's the website. All right. So please check it out if that's something that your student might be interested in the medical field. Raleigh International, they're also an opportunity. This one says 17 to 24. This is a specific program, but there are a number of programs for students that start at 16. So also check out Raleigh International Bermuda for co-curricular hours. We have done most of the course selection for students for the S4 year. We have some modifications to make. So if there are any changes that you would like to make or recommendations that you'd like to make for your students' final S4 year, please send me emails now. Also, if there are any track changes where you are going to shift your young person to the general track, please send me an email. I'll give that email next. I've gotten a few of those requests just last week. Knowing that information now is helpful before we finalize their schedule. So again, if you're looking to change your students to a general track from a financial track or health and social care track, just send me an email and we can note those changes. Thank you so much. I am sorry that I talked so fast, but I really wanted to make sure that I got everything that I could in a short period of time for busy parents. If you need to reach me, my email is below. I'm best accessible via email, as my office is often populated and buzzing with students. And so feel free to email me as the best way to reach me. I hope that you found this to be informative and helpful. I'm wishing you a wonderful day.